Hi guys, it's Prajna. Welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited. The new season is finally here and oh my god guys, this build is insane with the new gear set. I don't think I've ever seen this much damage on the blue screen before, but this new gear set is wild and you get a crazy amount of critical hit damage from it. But before we get into the build breakdown, I quickly want to address some of these claims that were made towards my channel. Actually, better yet, I'll save that for later. If anyone's been aware of these claims, and if you'd like to know what's going on, then stick around towards the end of the video. I will say this though, and then we'll get into the build breakdown. Just know that I have good intentions, and the main reason that I make these videos is to simply share my knowledge with the community. The Division is a bit of a complex looter shooter, so it's very easy for a beginner to get overwhelmed. There's just so much information to process. So I just enjoy making these videos because they make it a lot easier for beginners to find their footing in the game, because if you have a better understanding of the game, it's naturally going to be a lot more enjoyable, right? But anyway, I'll touch a little more on this matter towards the end of the video. I'm super excited to share this build with you guys, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, so this is an LMG setup using the new tipping scales gear set. This set is designed for LMGs, so you're getting both a 30% mag size and LMG damage bonus. Not to mention, with the talent throttle control, you know, the new gear set talent, as you're shooting, you're building stacks of both weapon handling and critical hit damage. And when you reach full stacks, it's almost like you have a laser beam cannon with a ton of critical hit damage. So it gets pretty crazy. But for the primary weapon, I'm running the blue screen. The blue screen in itself is a decent weapon, and it's actually great for crowd controlling NPCs. And this is all thanks to its native talent, Disruptor rounds. So this talent basically adds stacks to your agent upon shooting enemies. Max stacks is 50, and as you're landing shots, you're marking enemies. Now when you deploy a non-shield skill, it's going to remove all the stacks you've applied to your agent, while also simultaneously triggering an effect. So the type of status effect that gets triggered is determined by the number of stacks you've applied to a target. So between 1 to 10 stacks will apply Pulse, 11 to 25 will apply Pulse and Disrupt, so on and so forth. You get the drift, right? Now for the secondary weapon, you can use whatever your heart desires. And for the gear pieces, for all the tipping scale pieces, I have weapon handling rolled for the minor attribute with critical hit chance mods. And for the Langmo holster, weapon handling and critical hit chance. Then just crits for the knee pads. I would much rather have more weapon handling instead of critical hit damage because you're already getting a crap ton from the gear set talent anyway. Unless you want to be greedy and have more. But for the weapon specialization, I recommend Gunner. Gunner is really good with this setup, mainly because of the armor on kill bonus that you get, but also for the additional ammo over time. Gunner goes great with LMG build in general though. Now as far as weapon alternatives, you can totally use the Pestilence or even the Iron Lung with this setup. Those will work great as well. But the blue screen is a better option, at least in my opinion. Its base damage is crazy high and it has a huge magazine capacity. Like, it's 3 expertise levels lower than my Iron Lung, and it has over 17,000 more weapon damage than it. Plus, with the huge mag size, it makes it a lot easier to maintain your stacks. You know, you're not constantly having to reload. But the GR9 and even the Stoner LMG are also great options. Now this setup is only possible with the Ninja Bike Messenger backpack. So for anyone here who's new and may not know, this bag basically acts as a slot holder in order to fulfill the requirements of any brand or gear set that you have equipped. So in other words, this bag is acting as both my 4th piece of the tipping scale set, so I get the 4th piece talent bonus, and the 3rd piece of Langmo at the same time. But if you don't have this exotic backpack, then give this vanilla version a try. So this version is basic and utilizes the backpack for the talent Snowball, which basically increases the critical hit damage that you get per stack from 4% to 7%. This is a pretty significant increase. So this version is just as viable as the previous. You're going to be seeing a lot of damage, as you can see in this clip. Another thing though is that the blue screen, like all other exotic weapons in the game, comes with predetermined mods. And one of those mods grants a 20% reload speed bonus. And that's pretty good if you consider the huge magazine size, right? Remember, you get like 260 rounds per mag with the 30% mag bonus from the set. And for the skills, I highly recommend using Smart Cover, more specifically the Fortified variant. And for the secondary skill, if you're playing solo, I'd go with Reviver Hive, but even in a group, the Reviver Hive is still viable. However, it's optional, so go with whatever floats your boat. However, the Fortified Smart Cover is what I highly recommend you use. If only you could use the Ballistic Shield, that would be better, but that's impossible. Because you can't use the Ballistic Shield with LMGs. Imagine though, that would be crazy. But here are the stats in case anyone's wondering. So 150,000 weapon damage on the blue screen with 40% critical hit chance and 57% critical hit damage. So that'll do it, guys. One last thing though, don't feel like you need to have armor for your core attributes. I go with mostly armor because it's my preference. If you would rather go all in on weapon damage with this setup, then more power to you. Okay, so now I want to address this matter about the claims that were made towards my YouTube channel. So there have been claims about me stealing content from other creators. This isn't true. First of all, if I were stealing content, I wouldn't have this much success on YouTube. YouTube actually has algorithms that can detect stolen content, and there are several of them. Also, when I started out making videos, I had no data whatsoever on my channel to work with, so I needed some sort of framework. Or a template, you know, some sort of foundation or idea to find my footing as a new content creator. So I initially thought of using frameworks from other creators that are having some success, and honestly, it was a mistake that I learned a lot from. But I never intended to steal anyone's content. I just needed a solid framework to get started. But that was the mistake I made. So I actually ended up getting in touch with some of the creators. I won't say their names though, but I basically apologized. And that was about a year ago, so all of that is left in the past. Moving forward though, every video that I've uploaded since then is my own original content, so none of my content is stolen. These rumors will probably still circulate because, you know, everyone has haters, but honestly, I like to have the perspective of seeing haters as motivation. So it's always a good thing having haters because that just means you're doing something right? And those of you who've been following me since day one, and to all the channel members, I love you. Thank you so much for the support. It's always nice to have support because it's getting wild out here. Like, some people are just so unhinged. Mental health is so important, and we all need to be kind to each other because we don't know what everyone is going through. Someone can be fighting a battle that no one knows about, you know? But anyway, guys, one last thing. If anyone's interested, I do have a Discord server with a great community. So I'll leave a link in the description, but just make sure to bring pizza. I'm kidding. But anyway, this is Prajna. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video and let me know what you guys think about this setup. I'm hella curious. You guys already know the vibes. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and see you in the next one. Peace out.